Got a plan.
Welcome to another movie plot. It's set entirely in a valley situated around the sleepy town of Perfection, Nevada. With only 14 residents, the place has only two handymen, Earl and his equally financially lacking partner Valentine. They do all of the odd jobs around town, like acting as cleanup crew, sanitation, maintenance, and whatever else the townspeople require, all the while trying to earn enough money to both leave. To settle arguments, the two friends use their method of paper, scissors, rock, which usually sees Earl the winner and Valentine cooking breakfast.
Damn.
The two share a rundown truck between them and have been told that a woman's visiting town, which has got Val going. But he's instantly let down when seeing that she isn't a tall blonde like the playmate that he fantasizes about. Instead, Rhonda's a seismologist and is visiting Perfection to study strange earthquakes that have been recorded in the region. When the boys head back to town, Earl tells Valentine that he needs to stop chasing the deadweights that fear breaking a nail and find a real woman. The two have a good relationship with the townspeople and visit Walter Chang at his store for supplies. Married couple Bert and his wife Heather live a survivalist life overlooking the town and purchase hollow points from Walter to add to their stash. The clerk reminds the boys to return and fix his broken freezer as it's been on the fritz, but with the two finally getting enough money together, they collect their possessions and begin to leave town when the local artist Nancy begs them to stay. She offers them a lucrative job of building her a new oven and sweetens the deal with all the free beer they could want, but the two resist temptation and take the only road out of Perfection to begin their new lives. The first hitch in their plan comes when they spot the town drunkard Edgar stuck on a power line. He doesn't reply, so once again Val loses the draw to Earl and has to climb up the tower, but finds the old man dead with a loaded rifle still in his hands. They take him to the town's Dr. Jim, who confirms that Edgar died of dehydration after spending 3 days stuck up there. Continuing their journey, the two pass through the mountain range surrounding Perfection, and start wondering what made Edgar so afraid that he would prefer dying of thirst. The boys plan on stopping by old Fred's farm to say goodbye before leaving, but he has an unexpected visitor. His flock begin to act up, as nearby Rhonda's installing her equipment and begins getting more readings of the strange tremors. By the time Val and Edgar reach the farm, they find all of Fred's sheep torn apart and nothing left of the old man but his fedora and severed head. Thinking there may be a murderer on the loose, the two rush back to Perfection, warning a pair of road workers on their way through the mountain pass. The workers assume the heat just got to them when one of the two stabs his jackhammer into a subterranean creature. It takes off shrieking as the lead drags the worker up a hill to his death, and the second's crushed by a landslide of rocks that precedes it. Because of the geographical location, the area lacks mobile coverage, so the boys return to Walter's to use the only landline, but it's been cut, so the boys have to drive 38 miles to the next town over. This time they find the passage blocked by the landslide and assume it's been caused by the two road workers. They get out of their truck to yell at them, but discover one of the man's bloody helmets and think they've got a serial killer on the loose. They frantically leave, but Val backs into the side of the mountain, getting them momentarily stuck but thinking nothing of it. Nancy's daughter Mindy announces their return, but everyone ignores the explanation when noticing the large snake-like appendage wrapped around their rear axle. Assuming it's some kind of mutation, Chang offers to buy it from the boys for $15 to display in his store. That night the doctor and his wife Megan are shown living in a trailer while they have their new home built in the valley. The power goes out, so Jim goes to check on the generator but finds that it's been consumed by the earth. It's spat back out and the two think it's some kind of natural phenomenon like a gas pocket, when the ground beneath the dock collapses and he's pulled under, screaming in pain. He's completely consumed when another snake creature pops up and Megan retreats to the car for protection. But she's unable to get it started before the worms drag the entire car underground with her still inside. The town gathers at Walter's to discuss the situation along with another cynical resident, Nestor. Local farmer Miguel suggests that someone take a pair of horses to the next town to get help, so naturally the group look to the two handymen. They load up with weapons supplied by the survivalists, who say that the town's seclusion is the very reason they moved to Perfection. A local boy walks out seemingly getting attacked by the creature, but Melvin's just crying wolf and gets warned off for his antics. Val and Earl ride off into the sunrise and pull into the doctor's to warn them, but with no sign of the car assume they've already left. They hear the car radio and follow it to find the headlights facing the sky with Heather presumed dead inside. They take off riding as fast as they can, again with no intention of stopping, until their horses are suddenly spooked and throw them to the ground. The horses get dragged underground, so Val starts blowing the snake creatures away, but a larger one bursts from the earth with a beaked mouth, revealing the smaller snakes protruding like tongues. With bullets now having little effect, the two run for their lives, being chased by the creature, but try to jump across a wide concrete ditch and fall short. The creature smacks into the side of the wall so hard that it ends up killing itself just as Rhonda arrives, having followed the tremors. On inspection, the three find that it stinks horribly and is almost 10 meters long with small spikes that it uses to propel itself through the earth. While the boys discuss how they're going to make money off it, Rhonda checks her graphs, learning that there must be at least 3 more of them in the area. When they go to collect the scientists' equipment, it suddenly registers another tremor, allowing the 3 enough time to make it onto a rocky outcropping that the creature's unable to penetrate. They remain in the same place all day and night until waking in the morning with the 2 kids huddled together. Valentine checks that the coast's clear and finds that the sandworm's still waiting and reacted to noise. So Rhonda speculates that the creature's unable to see them and is using their vibration to locate their position. As to not end up like their friend Edgar, she devises a plan to use a pole and vault from one rock to the next all the way back to her truck, and gets it moving before the creature's tongues can bring it down. They get back to Walter's and warn the town that all the attacks have been on a trail leading through the valley directly to perfection. Walter comes up with the name graboids for the monster due to their tendency to grab its prey. Melvin's not taking things seriously and is still playing games with Earl, when the real creature shows up and he lets out another scream. The rest of the group find him hiding up a pole when the creature emerges, and they're all made to run back inside the store for safety. It's able to easily gain entry but is drawn away by Mindy on her pogo stick. Val's able to make it in time to save her, but when the survivors all flee back to the shop, Rhonda gets caught on some barbed wire and tangled up. As she's slowly pulled into the creature's beak, Valentine returns and sticks a pickaxe into the beast's head. He assists Rhonda in pulling her pants off as the worm uses its tongue to remove the axe, and as a second graboid emerges, the 2 run back into the shelter as the front deck's destroyed. After patching up their wounds, the group remain quiet until Walter's freezer plays up again and the vibration makes them quickly shut it off. But it's too late as the graboid bursts through the cheap wooden flooring and drags a screaming Walter into its mouth. When it returns, the group decide to climb on top of the building, but Rhonda's knocked through a window and recovers on the neighboring water tower. From their property, Bert and Heather see all of Perfection acting strange and radio the store to find out what's going on. Earl warns them that one of the graboids has picked up their vibration and is heading towards them. It's able to break through their basement walls, so the heavily armed couple fight back with their large collection of firearms. When the plethora of lower calibers aren't doing the job, Bert picks up his elephant rifle and puts 2 through it, instantly bringing down the beast. The people all celebrate the news when the remaining graboids begin testing the foundations of the townspeople's hiding spots. They find Nestor's trailer to be the most lacking and knock him off before consuming the drunk through a large tire. The rest of the survivors come up with a plan to pick up all of the people with a bulldozer, figuring the graboids won't be able to grab something so heavy, and with the building starting to collapse they need to hurry. Miguel climbs down the side and activates a lawnmower to attract the creature's attention, and even though Valentine loses the hand draw, he knocks Earl back and volunteers to retrieve the vehicle himself. When the mower runs aground, the creature diverts for Val and he gets warning from the lookouts, requiring him to stand still, causing the blind worms to lose his location. Needing a distraction, Rhonda kicks out a water pipe, causing the vibration to draw the creature away from Valentine. He makes it to the tractor and hooks up to a trailer to fit all the other survivors, then picks them up and, just like predicted, the graboid's unable to outmuscle the vehicle. Meanwhile, at the survivalist's house, Bert's discovered that the rifle has no effect on the worms once they're underground, so the couple begin making sticks of dynamite out of piping from the roof. They load up a duffel bag of guns and explosives and jump aboard the trailer to join everyone in their escape. The graboids show their high level of intelligence when they prepare a trap for the humans, who drive straight into a sinkhole. Bert attempts to use a few sticks of dynamite, but like the rifle, they have no effect when the creature's underground. They all once again have to run to some rocks for safety, so with Melvin being terrified, Bert hands him a weapon to give the boy courage. The moment they make a break for it, Melvin discovers the weapon's unloaded, but he wouldn't have done anything anyway. Waiting on top of the rocks surrounded by the graboids, they begin arguing that they should have stayed at Bert's, but after what the creature did to the town, it would have brought down their house the same way. After a few more hours, Bert remarks that if it comes down to it, he'll walk out with a stick of dynamite and let the creature take him, which gives Earl an idea. The group throw rocks to attract the graboid to the surface, then Earl with his great form tosses out an explosive on a rope and drags it back to simulate a living creature. When the sandworm swallows it, it's instantly blown to pieces, raining down orange chunks on the humans, who are left with only one graboid to destroy. Next is Valentine's turn, who tries the same trick with the final worm, but the intelligent animals learned and spits the dynamite back at the group. They have to run away to avoid the blast, but the main trio get caught out on open land with the creature between them and the rock. The rest of the survivors use vibrations to draw the creature back to them, but Valentine predicts that it's just pretending and won't be fooled twice. He has his own plan and takes off running, proving himself right as the graboid continues the chase, having never left. Val leads them to the edge of a large cliff and lights his final stick of dynamite, aiming for behind the creature, sending punishing vibrations through the sensitive slug, causing it to go straight off the cliff. It splatters in a gory display and the survivors of perfection all celebrate their hard-fought victory. When they get back to town, Rhonda takes the hero's photos for the credit of the discovery, and Val needs some coaxing by Earl into asking her out. He's nervous because she's a PhD student with a bright future and he has no prospects, but taking Earl's advice that in the end it's her decision, he makes a move. And the movie ends.